hello house people. So when you give them that template, it helps them know what to write actually. Then when it comes to research and publication, the goal is to, check all the boxes in that era's CV. So please try, everyone here should try and have
What means that way?
research, publications. Some people are into clinical research, like bench research, working with some um principal investigators. Those are equally very good research experiences. You just have to know how to describe it in your CV to sell yourself, getting publications. You know, one thing is getting ready for this process. And when you decide that you want to do something, like I said, you have to be resilient. I know coming from Nigeria, some of us didn't do a lot of research, Some of us, the only research we did was the ones we did for our medical school projects and graduation and everything. And okay, since then, we've not done any research and the rest. So you want to gain knowledge of research. I remember seeing somewhere someone said, oh, they've done a lot of research. They were writing so much papers from their house and everything. And I was like, okay, blessing, you need to go learn research. So I stumbled across some research group on LinkedIn and reached out to them and took my chance to them with them. And when I took my chance, that's when I noticed, okay, yes, they are genuine. That's when I knew they were genuine and I decided to go ahead with them. And what did I go there to do? I went there to learn research, because you just have to be prepared. You're competing with a lot of people. For me, I like to know, like, I just need to build my knowledge to know what I'm meant to do, So I chose like their training course, and through it, they put us through the act of doing research and everything. And for me, at that point in time, based on where I was, it was beneficial, And I knew that over the time, people were like, oh, research. I shared all those things to people. But right now, there are a lot of research groups, different research groups. Please, please, please find one or two research people, collaborate. You can collaborate with each other, choose a topic, and actually try to do something on your own, actually. But it's just good because I know when I came into my program director was like, oh, everybody must write a publication. And that was in our first year, oh, everybody must do research, everybody must publish this, that, that. So well, some programs nobody's saying you have to publish, you have to do research, but some programs are particular about these things, So just, you know, learn them, get them. It's beneficial in medicine and it helps you overall beyond the match and for the match. Then I'll say, because some people present in conference, some people go for conferences, they present their posters, seek out those opportunities to go to present, um, all those things, put them in your application, they're going to help you. And another thing I want to talk about is volunteer work. You have to have some volunteer work, whether the ones you did back then in Nigeria or the ones you're doing wherever you are. Americans like all this volunteer work, you know. I joined the American Red Cross. I'm used to volunteering right from the days of my medical school, like going for all these outreaches, different things. So for me, coming here, joining the Red Cross, doing volunteer and some other organizations was just, you know, part of me and part of keeping busy to get myself going. So we have to learn to volunteer because you may find yourself in one place or the other and they're looking for some people to go for medical missions or do different things. And your hobbies, whatever hobbies you have that would not cause problems in a work environment, put them out there and let them know, okay, aside from medicine, this is what you like doing, Because if you have a kind of hobby that will cause problems in a work environment, please keep it to yourself and continue doing it privately. But the ones that will be beneficial to others in a group, then yes, it's good to do it. Professional memberships. So I would say it's good to join professional memberships if you can. People have matched without professional memberships. Like I said, people's journeys are different, So a little bit of my story. When I applied the first time, I didn't match. And then my very close group of friends, all of us, they matched. So, okay, yeah, the pain was not there. It was like, okay, we'll try again. The second time, my very good group of friends, all of them matched. So I remember that year coming to Joey's group for people that have been on Joey's group before. After they match, people will come and say, "Oh, I matched," blah blah blah. Then they will give a time for all the people that didn't match. So I remember coming that day, and all I was like was, I didn't match, and all my friends matched. That was all I could say because all the tears and all the emotions were just pouring through my head at that point in time. And you look at some of people's CVs that match, nobody's comparing if your CV is more sophisticated or more this than them, but God, life and chance and luck, everything plays out. So everyone's journey is unique. So I decided to join some professional organizations. I think the first one I joined was AMA. Maybe mainly because it helps in Frida search for programs. So I think that was why I joined it initially. I didn't join NMA, but I noticed that while going through those things, some people say, oh, NMA is good, it's more for Black physicians, join it. But for some reasons, maybe I didn't figure out how to join them, so I didn't join them. Another thing is professional memberships. Sorry, I'm internal medicine, so my story is for everybody. So even those in psychiatry, surgery, whatever field you're going into, there are always professional memberships you can join. So I joined ACP because I liked internal medicine. I always wanted to do internal medicine. So I just joined them, as a low-key member to attend conferences, see what they are doing and everything. And I remember one of the first conferences I attended in the ACP was for my local chapter. Then I was in Florida doing some rotations. So I just joined, went for their conference and everything. And so at that point in time, my mind was in one particular program. I liked the program because I was doing a rotation there. So they said, "Oh, come and play this game with us. It's just a social bingo game." So, okay, I just went and played the game. I'm trying to like get to know people, get into this habit of socializing and talking, and keeping away some of my Nigerian ideas. And in playing that game, okay, I finished among one of the first people that was able to complete the game and I got this portrait taken, a picture of me taken. They gave me a scarf, and I was like, okay, well, long story short, I interviewed in the program, but okay, they said it's competitive, is this, is that. I didn't match in the program. And that particular year, I had 8 interviews and I didn't match. So yeah, people match with one interview. They say all you need to match is just one interview. I know people that applied to only one program, interviewed in only one program, and matched, you know. But for me, I've always applied to a lot of programs. Throughout my application cycles, I got interviews in all the applications I did, but I didn't match. And by the time I had 8 interviews and I didn't match, and it was just a lot, and people gave me different feedbacks, different things. I took the good ones where I actually felt the problem was coming from, you know. And yeah, in as much as I thought it was a problem, I know people that did the same thing and matched. So, you know, luck happens, or life happens, or destiny happens. So when I was about to go for my next application season, at that point in time, I think I've learned some things. For some people, I was now volunteering in this group. I was just telling myself I'm going to do most things like different. I don't want to do like the same thing I did again. So I was not interested in going for ACP conference that year, but I just said, okay, someone, and I asked someone that was in my discussion group the year before, I said, "Oh, when you went for ACP conference, how was it? Did you feel it helped you?" So the person said, "Oh, yes, this, it helped me this way, this, that." And I said, "Okay, I'll give it a thought." And boom, one of the days, so someone said, "I'm looking for a roommate for ACP conference, this, that." I said, "Well, this may be my sign to pack my bags here, even if I'm weeping and crying, and move again." Because if you're looking for something, you have to keep preparing yourself so that when the opportunity comes, you will grab it. So yes, I said, okay, I'm going to go again for this conference. In as much as I didn't have any poster, I wasn't going there to present anything. I was like, okay, I'm going there to learn and I'm going there to make contacts, for people. So I went for the conference, and on the first day of the conference, I came into the exhibition hall, and while wandering around the hall looking for who to talk to, which program or anybody I can say help me or give my card to, because I made business cards for the conferences. I now stumbled across this picture of mine, which is at the background. It may not be showing my face correctly, but my face is the person of, and it was from the previous conference I went last year. So I told myself, okay, if I can see myself here, I'm still trying to get into residency, then maybe this is just a sign from God that I shouldn't give up, because there's this saying in, I think in Nigeria, that is who that gives up that loses. So don't give up. So for me, that was like a sign of, okay, don't give up. Try this thing again, because, I was like, okay, maybe I'll just leave this internal medicine and focus on something else, because, I've tried it. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe I just, have to do something else. So that particular year, I told myself I'm going to apply to two specialties. So you have to like make up your mind. What do you want to apply to? One specialty, two, three. Well, a good balance for IMGs, because we're IMGs, is two. That's a good balance. People have applied to more than two. I've done that in previous years. I know there was a time I applied to three. People have applied to four. They ended up even matching. So different things happen, but just like try to know yourself and mirror your application to what you're looking for, you know. And something I did the last time I applied, I'm not saying anybody should do it, it's a risk I took. I had both memberships in ACP and AFP, and I put it there in my CV, you know, because at that point in time, I was just 50-50 committed to both to both specialties. And I was like, I was so much inclined to, okay, wherever you match, you go. You know that these programs can lead you to this particular destination if that's what you want to do. I know that family medicine or internal medicine can lead me to hospital medicine if I don't want to do fellowship. So these are some of the things people may not know. So you just plan according to what your goals are. Um, so I think when I try to summarize, then we'll take some questions. So when we talk about some other points I want to talk about is applying early. I think the application cycle starts somewhere in September, if I'm not wrong. So try and that day, try to make sure that you apply before the deadline. If they say, oh, 9 a.m. tomorrow, programs will start getting the application. Hit your application before that day. Don't be in a hurry. Take all your time to prepare for the whole application and send it out early enough. At least that's one thing I know I did over the seasons I applied. I wasn't into applying late for any reason. I tried to apply early, and you know, interviews start coming in as early as you apply. Now, when I say setting realistic goals, what are your goals for yourself? And realistic goals actually look at the programs you want to apply to, you know, check your candidacy, see does this program take people like you? You can be the first in that program. It always happens. I know that people have matched in programs where they are the first people of their group in that program. It happens, but just know other things the programs are looking out for. Are they looking out for diversity? So if this program is not diverse and they're looking out for diversity, then you can be diverse person there in that program. Then you quality check. Okay, I've talked about the specialty selection, know which specialties you want to do, apply early. And another thing to do is search your programs well. So my last application season, I told myself I'm not going to like apply to a whole lot of programs like I used to apply in previous years, that I'm going to choose my programs more selectively. And I took my time to really search. I used ERAS and went through, even before ERAS opened, I kind of just went to the program's website itself to see what they're looking out for. Maybe if they have 5 or 6 things, I just count three. Do I have up to three? Do I have up to like half of what they want? Something of that nature. I don't really base it on year of graduation, because if you go to my program's website, they're going to say, oh, they're looking for maybe 2 years or 5 years postgraduate. So if you sometimes base it based on year of graduation, you may not, do pick some programs. But if a program is looking for like maybe other things, they are mentioning other things, then and you have other things, but you don't have some things, and you wait and know, okay, do you like this program? Do you want to apply there? You know. And another thing I want to say is have good professional ERAS portrait. Like let your portraits be so nice, because those are the things they will see about you. You have to smile before they even get to invite you. They're looking at your application. Is it flawless? Try as much as possible, no grammatical error. This whole process made me get Grammarly so that I can edit it. I know people use different things to like edit their application to make it free of grammar mistake checks and everything. Work with your mentor. Joey's group is good at giving people to review your CV and everything. I know that it got to a point in time I was like, okay, I just want to work with this person someone recommended to me to go to help me, package the whole CV, this thing. Focus my strength on other things. My strength is to pursue the um pursue the interviews and know how to get those interviews. So visa status for those that don't have visa, you already know that okay, maybe you want J1, H1B. If you want H1B, I think you have to do your step 3 so you get that J1. You don't need step 3. People that maybe came here to do MPH have other pathways of visa they get. And if you're US citizen or you have your green card, leverage on it. Don't let it get rusty. Don't make other people come from other countries and take the job in your country. I'm not biased, but I'm just saying it. You're here, you should, put your best foot forward and get something. You have an advantage that others don't have, so make use of that. Networking, oh God, very important. I used to come to Joey's group and we were talking of networking, 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 and I'm like, oh, where would I start from? Okay, I started from somewhere. I had to go create a LinkedIn account. I started looking at what people are putting in their profile, how they are arranging their own. I'll go and arrange my own. After 2 weeks, I'll go and check another person's own and arrange it. These are things you have to do because, well, if you know it's good, but if you don't know it, look at what others are doing and do your own like that. Because a lot of people are entering into this, call it a race, call it a dream, call it a pursuit, call it a competition, call it whatever you want to, just applying for residency. It's okay, but there are a lot of people, you know. So try and measure up, try and be up to the standard, be up to the US standard. Put yourself out there. There are times I used to worry, oh, I don't want people to see my picture. I don't want people to see this, see this. I had to get used to the fact that in order to get in, I have to do this. Some people didn't do all those things. Okay, yes, that's good for them. But those ones are not working for me. So I have to change and try something that will work out for me. And I think how I joined Twitter, I heard of someone I did house job with back in Nigeria, how he blew up Twitter with messages and everything and got interviews and match. I was like, oh, wow, okay, let's go create a Twitter account. So I created a Twitter account and I tried my best. Some people are so active, they'll be engaging, posting this. but don't go to make posts or any when you see controversies, on all the social media, just stay away from it. Use them professionally, reach out to people. For some people, they'll just reach out to me. I'll be like, oh, I may not really provide so much help for you, but what I can do is to refer you to Joey's group. So I'll just say, okay, refer, Pam. At least by referring them here, I know that I'm putting them in safe hands. They are coming to hear a lot of people speak, give their journey and opinion, take notes, you write, and use it. Use it. Don't just listen, implement all these things they're saying. It's from this group I learned, oh, you have to make a business card when going for all these conferences. So the first conference I went for, I think I just made a very basic card, and the card was just, looking like something like that. So I now saw people making sophisticated cards. Some people's card, you have to scan it they'll say scan the QR code to get their CV. I was like, oh, wow. You're trying to meet up and people are just taking the bar high, 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 high. So you have to keep going high, high, high. So by the second time by the time I was going for another conference, I just told myself, okay, Blessing, we have to try and get a much better business card. And so I made this business. I don't know if it's showing, but I just made this business card the second time I was going and took it along with me. And if I meet people, talk to them and all those things, oh, I give them my business card. And I remember meeting one program director that I interviewed in her program the previous year and did match. And I gave her my business card and she looked at it and I said, oh, yeah, Blessing, I remember you did that, the other one. Okay, let's do this. And then when they were doing like a kind of social gathering for that conference, she now invited me. She said, oh, I should come. She gave me like a ticket to come for that social gathering, because yeah, my phone number is there. She could reach me, and whatever I put in my card, motivated her. And she said, okay, come, this, that, and the rest. So you just have to like network, network, network. Another avenue of networking is Joey's group. Plenty people here, you know, they've matched, they're doing very well in their programs, plenty chief residents. Reach out to them, talk to them, try and reach out to people early because, a lot of people are reaching out, and sometimes when you reach out late, it's like they've already had their candidates for the year, and okay, they may tell you, oh, I'll talk on your behalf, but they're not gonna talk because they're already talking for somebody, and they just don't want to tell you, oh, I'm not gonna talk. So um these are some of the things that happen. And another thing I know I did was when I didn't match and people matched on Joey's group and they put all those messages and everything, I try to reach out to as many people I can to congratulate them. And I personally compiled the programs of where they matched in the specialty I'm looking for because I already know about at that time that, okay, you're applying again. So I started preparing early. I was like, okay, this person matched this program, this specialty, year of graduation. Okay, it's like my own. So that program takes people like me. I'll put a list, so that in the future I can make use of that because I think I saw someone the other day asking for like where people matched in those group or something, blah, blah, blah. You have to make the list for yourself if you were already on the group when people posted all those testimonials. Use it to your benefit, use it to reach out to people politely. People are busy. Um, Send reminders if you have to and see where your help will come from. I know that I had so when I was going for my next application cycle, I told myself, okay, I'm not going to do clinical rotations in the US. I've done enough of these. I just want to go start a master's program. I feel I've wasted my time. If I started many years ago, by now I should have finished, So I just said, okay, I want to go to school. So I just went, started the process. And by the time I was supposed to resume school, one program said, oh, come and do a rotation with us. And it was going to be for 1 month. I had to travel. Well, I just told them, oh no, I'm not coming. And like that was one of the tough decisions I made. And I think looking back, I'm grateful I made that decision because I was like, oh, I've dealt with this program in previous years. I've interviewed with them. They didn't match me. I went back, they told another story. This time around, oh no, I'm not gonna deal with them. I'm going to chart my own course from here moving forward, you know. And I charted my own course. I decided to go to school. And a friend of mine, so keep in touch with people from your school that have graduated, the attendings. Oh, don't be ashamed. Let them be attendings. You are still looking for residence. It's okay. Everybody's pathway is different. You sat in the same class with them once back in Nigeria, it's good. They've moved ahead, it's okay. Reach out to them for help. The ones that will help you. The ones that cannot help you will not help you. Sometimes people are not helping you because they don't want to, but it's because they can't. Maybe some of the parameters you have, it's not what the places where working in will accept, and they can't change the rules. So that one person turned you down is not a reason for you not to reach out to another person. So I had this friend, I had to tell her, I said, oh, okay, she knew I didn't match and all those things. So she was like, okay, and we tried this program before, nothing came out that year, but oh, now they're saying they're going to give you an observership. Do you want to go? And I said, oh, yes, I want to go because I've not really dealt with them. So why I didn't go for the other one, I went for another one, and I went, and long story short, it was like my shortest observership I've done, and final answer, that is where I matched because I came, I liked them, and they liked me. And the year I matched, I did 18 interviews, and out of the 18 interviews, they were the first interview I did. So it just boils down to the fact of starting interview preparation early because you may be like, oh, I'll start interviewing in December, I'll interview in January so that they'll remember me. If you interview in October, if you're memorable, they'll remember you. I interviewed with them in October. They are like first interview I did for the season. And they remembered me. People remember you if you make your interview stand out. Even the ones you interview late, they will still remember you if you stand out. But if you don't stand out and other people are standing out in that interview, no matter the time, if you want to interview a day before the rank order list close, it's not going to change what they have to do if other factors are not, in your favor in that particular program. And so interview skills that impress. Oh God, preparing for the interview is a whole lot. I remember whenever I'm going for my interviews, I'll just talk about the last season. I interviewed with different groups, so I had this privilege of a special interview group. Um, and what I tried to do was I tried to be punctual. You know, that special privilege of interviewing came from this platform, and I had to be punctual. I made an alarm in my phone. I can't remember the exact time, but let me say it was p.m. Eastern time. Once it's 8 p.m. Eastern time, I'm showing up. I didn't miss that any of my interview sessions in that particular group from beginning to end. The only time I missed one was I think when I had to travel for a second look in a program and flights and all those things. And I messaged, I said, oh, sorry, I can't be able to show up. And when they said, oh, we're creating subgroups for interview, I said, I'm going to be the interview leader for my subgroup. You know why? I was serious and I wanted to be responsible. I wanted to be committed. So sometimes what people do is when they've applied before and it didn't match and they're applying again, they become discouraged, disappointment. They don't do anything new. They just do it as usual. Okay, we've gone, we didn't match. Then, okay, let's just go again. If you just go again, you will get the same result. Well, if you go differently, hopefully, by the mercies of God, you're going to get a different result. So each time you are applying, first time, second time, third time, fourth time, be resilient. Take it serious. If you need to stay motivated, because I knew I needed to stay motivated, I told myself, okay, I have to do different things. I have to say, I have to volunteer because if I'm volunteering on Joey's group, it's keeping me committed to this application cycle. You know, it will help me to do things differently because When people get to know you, you're adding them to the group, this, that, the other one. Okay, you have to be serious that by next year, by the mercies of God, you will not stay back to add people. You will hand over, so you would like to, but if maybe if you feel okay, nobody knows you, you didn't apply, okay, you just conceal it and go. So different things work for different people. But I just decided to be committed because I know that if I'm the leader of my interview practice group, I have to show up, put on the Zoom, and wait for others to come. But if I'm not the leader, maybe others will come and I'll be coming in 30 minutes late and be making excuses. So I just try to make myself responsible and avoid excuses, and because interview practice is it's major. I remember the time I practiced, you know, with the other time I did match, I practiced with some group of people. And like almost everybody in our group, we practiced with that session mass, maybe just three of us. So they're about the match and everything, and I just listened to the feedbacks I got from some of them that were like, okay, maybe this happened, maybe you applied to many programs, or maybe you didn't interview well, maybe something went wrong. And I said, okay, taking all this feedback in good faith, I'm gonna do things differently. So, um, environment, you know, as international medical graduates, if you're interviewing online, you have to like make the whole environment beautiful. Decorate your walls, flowers, beautiful things that they're going to ask you about, whatever portrays who you are. I know I had this picture in my wall that said something about being blessed. And I had one that said something about being blessed. I had another one that said something about kindness. So I just put both of them there. Some people pick the kindness one and ask me, oh, what is this? I'll talk about it. Some people say, okay, this, I'll talk about this. So whatever describes you, if you want to have a plain wall, that's fine. But if you want to make yours beautiful, when Joey's group became part of my life, like for the 2 seasons, I had to like really decorate my interview space, get good lighting, you know, and just do it well. It doesn't mean that I didn't have good lightning. If I had good lightnings, my interview space were like nice, but they were just blank. I didn't put anything. But I just pick one or two things. Like you see something that is missing, you just add it. That's just what I decided to do, you know. Then obviously professional attire, always look good, um, be yourself, and learn to communicate. Americans like people that communicate the way they understand. So just learn to talk, learn to practice. Yes, Dr. Joey.
Yeah, I think you referenced a special group. Was that a special group for the coordinators and the
Yes,
was that
yes.
what?
I didn't know if I was
Oh,
to say it or not. So,
oh, okay, yeah,
so
of course,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, yes. Oh, yeah, I remember now that I think you're probably the only one that had 100% attendance. That's what you were talking about.
Yes.
Oh, yes, and I commended you for that. Yeah, so you know how even those little foxes, how they go a long way. And, people will see that you're serious. I mean, a lot of people will not know this, but, some people probably will know. People will reach out to say, oh, bros, I want to match. And then you just give them a simple task, right? But then they come up with a lot of excuses. Like, oh, I mean, it's really interesting that people will reach out to say, I've never been added to a group or something. And then they get added to like a subgroup, and then maybe you're even the captain or you volunteer, right? And then many weeks in between, many weeks down the road, you've not even set up people, you've not even reached out to people that are supposed to be on your subgroup. And sometimes the one that drives me nuts is when the mentors will now be the one reaching out to say, oh, nobody has reached out to me. And then when you reach out to these people, it's like you are the custodian of all those other people that have been attached to you, eight, nine other people. And then they are saying things like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to, oh, duh. Like, seriously? You didn't know the rules and you volunteered? And some people will now reach out to say, hey, oh, this person did not submit my name. How, sir? How would they submit your name? You're not even consistent. I mean, these mentors, this everybody's busy, like you said, right? But the mentors,
Yeah.
they're not foolish. They know they know the people that are consistent. And also, they may say, okay, well, I know my program, maybe I'm supposed to submit, drop one or two or three names. Now, you may even be the club captain, but you're not showing up. They're not going to submit your name. We're human beings. They will know. Oh, this person is just calling this. But you know what? No problem. Oh, submit on it. I don't hear. Oh, I've heard. So they probably will not tell you I will. But eventually they will know the people that are really serious because they come on time. They don't come with excuses. If they're gonna be like one of the things you did, I think you and maybe Abby were stuck. You guys went for interview in Mississippi, and I
Yeah.
think there was some snowstorm, and then you guys. But even long before then, you sent a message to me, hey, Doctor Joey, I will not be showing up for tonight's special stuff, and I knew, and I give you credit, and towards the end of the season, January, February, I brought out the scorecard. People think that, oh, this guy just so like, oh, he's always just available just because I respond, to literally to everyone, right? I
Yeah.
find time to, and then down the season, they're like, hey, oh, uh, hey, excuses is just too much, man. It's just too much. So I don't need this stuff. People need this stuff. So if you that really need too much, if you're not taking it seriously, and you come up with excuses, you think I or the other mentors are going to take you seriously. They're not. And of course, we understand that people have different situations they're going through and stuff, but you just need to, like you said, the title today, you have to be resilient, you have to show up. Just keep showing up, is what I'll tell you. But thank you, Blessing.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joey. Yeah, so Dr. Joey summarized it, that interview group was so much initially. So let me say my truth. Initially, I was scared to practice with Dr. Joey the first day. So, but with time, you have to get those feedback you don't like to hear because they make you better. So, whenever we go, we show up, he gives us the feedback, we go back and prepare. Those are the things that will make you get to where you're going to. You know, you don't have to show up and every time they tell you you did well. No, sometimes you're not saying it correctly. They have to tell you you're not saying it correctly. Say it this way so that you will take it serious, so that on your interview day, when you're speaking, to even if there are six people in the room, they are doing panel style, eight people or just two or one, and they're asking you all these questions. Oh, you'll be remembering all the practices you've did and you're answering so fluently. Like it becomes a part of you that you don't have to cram it. They just, it's just flowing, you know. Because I remember like I had to write I have an interview prep book, different interview questions from different places I pull. I'll write my answers. Someone gave me some questions. I had to type, those answers and practice, And some of these things take pain. I remember when I had to type the answers to like up to 70 questions, and I'll be like, oh, blessing, you have to do this, you have to do this, you know. You type them, know what you have to say because you're thinking about your response. You're building scenarios, especially to the behavioral questions. Like they could come at you different, questions. You have to rehearse your response, the examples you have to say to know, okay, how are other people viewing it? So that when you tell others this during your interviews, does it look real? Does it look genuine? Are you coming across, you know, are you communicating well, especially when you're speaking to them through Zoom or like all these online platforms for interviewing? Because it's different from when they see you in person. If they see you in person, yes, you can make some impressions more than the way you make on the camera. But now you still have to learn to like make your best impression through the camera because some places are still doing just um online interviews. And when you have the opportunities to go for like second look or some programs to say, oh, just come and take a look and these, just go. As long as you're in the United States, you can travel, it's affordable, it's favorable for you. Try and go. A lot of people make a lot of sacrifices to go to all these things. I remember going for all these second looks, traveling back and forth and the rest. And I was just like, oh, I have to do all these things because I remember someone invited me the previously, but the way they said it, they said, "Oh, if you want to come, you come." This, and I couldn't go. Genuinely, my situation then didn't allow me go, so I didn't go. But when I started hearing some of my friends that matched, they told me, oh, how they traveled to this program, how they showed all this. You know, I told myself, every situation that hindered me from showing up the last year is not going to hinder me this time. So I started planning ahead that I just have to go. I have to show up. I just had to make that plan. I said, wherever it is, you know, you just have to go and do your best. The goal was just to do my best. I remember people telling me, oh, what will happen if you match with your program and the rest, with your master's program? And I told them my basic truth. Which as then I didn't even have like so much um knowledge on, oh, will I be able to get a leave of absence? Will I combine it this? I was like telling them, I said, oh, that what I plan to do is that I plan to take a leave of absence because I may not be able to combine it with my intern year, but that if I finish my intern year and feel I can combine it, I will resume it. But that my program is in person, they don't do online and all those things. So like I just had to like express myself the best way I knew and put it in a way that it will not look like, oh, you're going to stop this thing or you just maybe got this thing so that you just get into residency or something. No, I made it clear to them that, oh, this is something serious I want to do. I thought about it, I focused, I've found that, okay, I want to do this, but I probably still want to do this. So if this comes along the way, this is how I plan to balance it out. So you just have to let people know um your plans, your goals, and you have to show ties to, the places you're interviewing in and all those things. Because I don't know if that portion is still on the ERAS this thing where they said geographical location, this, that. So I tried to put those geographical locations. I know it was a lot of discussion during our own time whether to put or not to put. For me, I decided to put because I could tie them up. I could tie them up to places I've lived, places I've done my clinical experience. So okay. That's why I decided to put them so that I could tie it up, because I said, yes, this is a geographical location I've lived in before. I've gained some clinical experience here. Despite the fact I don't live here now, I would still like to come back to this place because people want to know if you match in their program, are you going to come? You know, you're because some people may feel, oh, you want to go to somewhere else. So I just try to tie up all those. Okay, are you trying to ask a question? Okay.
Sorry,
So,
I've muted the person. Sorry
okay,
about that.
thank you. So I think all these things are like things you have to do. For me, I went to a lot of conferences. I went to Joey's conference, the first one they did in Austin. It was a good experience for me because I don't know what motivates others, but for me, sometimes I need to see people that are still in this journey with me, and hearing people's story, what they're planning to do next. Like you're just sharing ideas, rubbing mind, you get information. You don't know all this information. You need to hear from other people. Okay, what are we doing? This is this, and you get all those ideas. I went for Joey's conference. I went for AMPA conference in Charlotte. I met some people. And one funny story, someone I met there told me, oh, there's someone I'm going to introduce you to you. Once I introduce you to you, he helps people get residency, just one touch. I was so excited. I said, okay, introduce me. And he called the name of the person. I was like, oh no, this doctor has tried to help me, but I think I'm that one spot he can't help because every other person he's been helping and he's still trying to help me and my own is not working. So there's something special and unique about my case, you know. So I just knew that, okay, maybe that particular one is not going to help me, but help is going to come from somewhere else. And I have to keep doing things to make myself ready. Because by the time I was, my final application cycle, I already knew what type of program I wanted to go to, which states are my favorites, in as much as I interviewed in a whole lot of states and everything. and different categories of programs, the big programs, the middle programs. I just said, what fits me most at this point in time in my life? What are my goals? And I just looked at my goals, looked at what I'm looking for, and, when it was time to make my rank list, I was clear on what I wanted and had to rank my programs like that. So one of the ways you can equally get interviews is by writing to all these programs. They call them letter of intent, or no, interest, letter of interest initially. So I think now is a good time to start writing to some of them if you've not started before the application season comes upon them, because once areas open up, that should be like following up. You're not writing again to follow up. And I learned how to go on the website of newly accredited programs to search for new programs. Oh, I was just hunting that website, like, to know if it's dropping tonight, the next morning I'm applying to that program before someone else even knows about it. You know, so you look for new programs that will start during the interview cycle. Programs start up during the interview cycle. Some start the next, like this year, some January, and they are interviewing and they are taking people. But some of these programs will not sponsor visa. Some of them will sponsor visa. So when you get to all those programs, you get them, search for them, put your application and begin to follow it up. Learn to write those sweet messages to these programs. Have like your templates that you can modify, you know. And when you want to send to the program director, send. If you want to send to the program coordinator, send it separate. Like, try to address each person in the program separately, because all those people are powerful. Do not look down on anybody. Anybody, do not look down on anybody. Anybody can help you get to where you're going to, you know. So whoever you come across, always be nice to people, always be good, even on your journey, help people. I know when I went for a conference, I met a doctor. She was like, oh, I'm looking for someone to come and do rotation in my hospital. And I said, oh, but I live far away from you. I just came on Joey's group, made the announcement, and someone was interested, and I sent the person to that doctor, and she built a good relationship with the doctor and everything, and it was a beneficial experience for her. So some of the opportunities you get may not be for you, they may be for others. Just pass it along. Don't try to withhold things, as if I don't use it, I don't give to anybody before I match. No, be good to people, even as you're trying to match. you know the heavens, posterity, whatever, they will speak for you. What is meant for you will come to you. That's just what I believe. So I'll just take a break here so that we can get some questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ojinna. This was a very insightful presentation. I mean, for all the real life experience or personal experiences that you shared, those were very helpful. Some really I can relate, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate with them. It's very, very helpful. Practical experiences. We have a couple of comments and questions in the chat box. So I'm going to start taking them now. And if you want to, if you want to ask a question live, you can use the raise hand button. But before I come to that, someone says, please, what's the website for the newly accredited programs? I think somebody already responded to that one, so we can ignore that. So that is in the chat. Thank you, Dr. Fashuba, for that response. How can one find new program? Again, Dr. Fashuba has responded to that. Okay, so Dr. Adigwe, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
All right. Good morning, good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for that lovely presentation. It was quite insightful and I really gained a lot. My name is Dr. Adigwe and this is my first time applying. Like, I'm a newbie, so I'm trying to figure out how to basically arrange my application and bring my best foot forward. So my question is, because I'm going to be applying into two programs, that's internal medicine and family medicine. So for family medicine, I would like to ask if I could get like a letter of recommendation from an obs and gyn consultant, because I really don't have any family medicine consultant that I know. So I want to know if that is possible and it's something I can use. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Adigwe. I think obs and gynae, you can use that a little bit for family medicine because they do obstetrics, So let him speak to the fact that you can be a good family physician and that your obstetrical skills, that will help. Yeah, so absolute no. You can use that as one of your letters.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. There's a
Just
question here.
sorry,
Go
caller.
ahead.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
caller. No, just make sure that if you can let the consultant know to not make it all about ups and gyne alone, like to try and help you make it well-rounded to kind of fit the family medicine picture, so that they are not thinking that you're applying to ups and gyne as well. Do you get?
All
So
right.
yeah, just to be mindful of that. Sorry,
Thank
caller.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you,
You
Doni. We
guys always,
appreciate your contribution.
you seniors always have the floor, so anytime you can jump in,
Maybe
please.
maybe there I see Darren here. Darren is Darren your FM. If hopefully it's the same Darren I'm thinking about. If not, then maybe you can continue. But I know people that are in FM may be able to have one or two thoughts about that.
Okay, before I come, Dr. Adetaya, 1 second. Somebody says here, many of these programs, and the person that Dr. Joy was referring to, please feel free to unmute your mic if you're the one he's referring to. And while we do that, let me read this question. This person says, many of these programs discourage LOIs on their website, and they say we should indicate our interest by signaling them. Do you have any comments on that? Should we still go ahead and send LOI even though they put it on their websites? It's discouraged.
If it says discouraged, I think you should just do what they want you to do, signal them. But there are programs there that don't discourage it, so you can go ahead to write to them.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Jiboye, please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Ojinna, for a very wonderful presentation. Your story did resonate with me personally a lot. So I do have 3 questions. The first question is, can we send you a message? The second one is, I think it's something that we're probably going to touch on at some point eventually before we get to interview season. But since you mentioned this, I just wanted to see, if you did have some insight about it. So about the question when you mentioned that you were doing your master's and then you were concerned about like programs that would say, if you do match, what are you going to do? Because I'm in residency in the UK and I've attended some conferences and I've had people, ask that sort of question. And I've just sort of answered it by saying, they know I'm applying to this and I just plan to take a break or take a leave, and things like that. I don't know if you do think of like, if there's any other like better ways that could sound much more better that we could add, I could answer that question. Then the third question, this one is more on a lighter note, is that you touched on ERA's picture. So I don't know if you do have any recommendations for like places that we could take pictures in New York specifically. So yes, thank you.
Okay. The first question is if you can message me. Yes, I think you can. Then the second question is, you're doing residency in the UK, right?
Yes.
So I think it's a different situation. Once you're doing residency in the UK, if you match here, you're moving over here, and you're not going back to the UK for residency. So
Yes.
yeah, I think it's straightforward and you should like put it in a way that you tell them that, oh, maybe your family is here.
Yes.
So that's why you want to move over to the US, to attain residency training so that you can
Mhm.
family, you
Yes.
know. So that's the way you're going to put it to them. And you're not going to like water down the UK experience. No, you're going to tell them that you're bringing in your experience from the UK
Mhm.
to the US as that's going to be your contribution to the program, and that you're equally very teachable and open to learning, because you know that there are some differences between the UK healthcare system and the US healthcare system. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
I think that's what you should tell them.
Okay. Then the third question was if you did have any recommendations for where we could take photos in New York.
So for me, I think I did my photos with Jessie Penny, and
Okay.
yeah, if you download Groupon, I think you can get this coupon that you can use to get three headshots for like a discounted price. So you now choose your best out of the three and use.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Ojinna. We have a few more questions here. For those of us that can't travel for in-person rotations and interview, please, can you comment on how we can stand out in our applications?
If you can't travel, I believe doing something where you are should help you. If you're in Nigeria, you're working, so put the work you're doing in Nigeria as your selling point. Some people do online telehealth rotation. Through some programs, it may not be so powerful, but for some programs, they'll see it as you making an attempt to, just familiarize yourself with the US healthcare system. So if you can't get that, fine. If your work is not allowing you to do it also based on, time difference, then you don't have to beat yourself up. Once you're practicing medicine, I think the most important thing is to stay clinically relevant and practice medicine not to have any gap. So that's what I'll say.
Thank you. Before I come to Dr. Ayikwe, I want to read two more questions before I come to you. This person says, can you please share the name of the research group from LinkedIn that you referenced?
Is the person in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just put it in the chat. I think this is just the short form of their group. So if you check them out, you can see that's but like I said, there are plenty other groups, so you can reach out to me and I can talk to you more later.
Okay, then one more question, and I'll come to this. It says, how different is supplemental ERAS application from my ERAS?
Is the supplementary areas application still on?
So, Lord Ibrahim, can you
Because I know they did that for one season and stopped it. So I don't know if they're still are they doing it this year?
Yeah, Dr. Blessing. So I was going through some of the programs today. I'm trying to put my programs together.
Mm-hmm.
Individually, I was visiting the website of the programs and I saw some of the programs say that as well as my errors, you have to also complete the supplemental distance. So I was a bit confused. So I want to use your avenue to clarify whether it's something that,
Okay.
yeah,
So
thank
I
you.
think you people in the cycle should be more aware if there's a supplemental ERAS application going on this year. I did it once and that was the first time they tried it, they piloted it, and the second year they didn't do it again. They just said they're taking components of the supplemental that they feel was useful to add to the main ERAS, and they just pulled out only one ERAS application the last time I applied. So if the supplemental application is going to happen this year, then you just have to do it. I know if it's not going to happen, it may be old information from when it happened that is still on their website.
All right. Thank you.
all right, Dr. Nia Yikwe, you can unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Blessing, for this wonderful presentation. I've learned a lot. My question, I don't know if maybe because you are not in this cycle, you may not be able to answer, or maybe someone else can. But in the filling of my CV, on my errors, there's this portion for postgraduate training. That if since I'm currently in residency in Ghana, so I was wondering if I could put that there, or were they referring to residency in the United States? That's what I'm a bit confused about.
Okay, thank you. I think I know the portion you're talking about. So, there are different opinions. Um, I didn't do residency in Nigeria, but I think when I was applying, some people say, if you did residency, you can put that there. Some people they put if they have a master's or a PhD, they put that there, you know. So that's what people do. I don't know, but I know the portion of what you're talking about. So if you want to put the training you're doing in Nigeria there, because sorry, in Ghana, because one way or the other, your Ghana experience will show in your CV. So you can
Okay.
put it there, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, before I come to the two folks with
Can
their
I say
hands raised
something?
up, who is that?
Yeah, I want to respond to that question. There is a portion in the new eras after the ACGME accredited residency. There's others under that for other residency that is not ACGME accredited. So that portion for this new set of application is for that residency. So you can put it under that portion. Is others is stated is after all the ACGME accredited portion.
Sir, who is SLP Group 3? Sorry, I think that's what the coordinator is trying to ask. What the name, first and last name is.
Oh, sorry
Yeah,
about that. It's Oluwatoyin Fadare.
Hey, Tony.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for thank you for the nugget.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Opang, before I come to you, I have a few questions I want to read here. Okay, for old grads, what do you advise that we should? Do you advise that we should apply to programs that have a year of graduation cutoff if we feel our profile is strong, even though they have a cutoff for year of graduation?
Yeah, so I think something is, if you want to, yes, sometimes Dr. Joe used to say the application is the number of programs, or, it depends on how much you're willing to spend. So if you feel you have a strong profile and they have your graduation cutoff, you can take your chances. It doesn't hurt. It's a few extra dollars if you can afford it. You may match there. Some programs don't really keep strictly to that year of graduation. Another thing is if you have somebody that can help pull up your application, because I've heard some programs use filter. So if your year of graduation is not within that filter, they don't get your CV reviewed. But if you have someone that can help pull it up for them to see all those strong things you have, then that will probably be a good idea. But if you don't have somebody, and the year of graduation is so strict, you're so far away from it, and so many things are not in order, you can decide to waive that one and look for other programs you actually, you know, will meet their criteria more.
Awesome, thank you.
Can I also chip into that? This is Maya.
Hi, Maya.
Hi, Dr. Ojinna. Thank you so much for your contributions. I wanted to also add to that question that those programs that we meet, like you meet criteria, but not all, are the kind of programs that will encourage people to send letter of interest to as well, stating why you want to be in their program. And also, I would say look for something specific from their websites that would make them know that you really want to go there, despite the fact that you don't meet all of their criteria. Now, based on their responses, you will know if you want to spend that dollar there or not. You just use that to gauge them. That's what I would also add to what has been said already.
Yeah, I also want to add something. When I was in the convention, the national AFP, many programs did not even know that on their website they have a cutoff. So sometimes program they just copy and paste. So if you have the money, apply, especially if you're a US citizen. If you don't have the money, then maybe through connection and see the people that have match there to calibrate if you can apply or not. Many don't even know what, some of them don't even know what is written as cutoff. I've seen it firsthand. So if you have the money, apply. If you don't, then you want to weigh on who has previously matched in that program and choose the program to apply to. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Opong, please unmute yourself and ask a question.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. So I have two questions. My first question is, she made mention of she having 8 interviews and went on match in one of the seasons. So I wanted to ask, would she say probably was the way she ranked the program after the interview or the interview skills? My second question is concerning, there are programs that are made-fit programs. So, for instance, there are combined made-fit program. In applying to programs such as those ones, your recommendation, how do you think you should go about? Can you make it like maybe two meds recommendation and one physics recommendation, or it has to be? I don't know how programs like that you can really go about it. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I didn't really get the second question, Dr. Adetola. You help me like check
Yeah,
it.
I was going to ask him to. Can you repeat the question? I was struggling to hear you clearly too, Dr. Opong.
Okay, so there are some programs that are like combined internal medicine pediatrics. So they are like combined programs.
Oh, combined IM PIDS.
PIDS programs, yeah. In such programs, how would you suggest the recommendation letters can it be strictly IM and can it be maybe strictly physics? For instance, in my situation, let's say I have just 1 month US clinical experience in IM, but I'm also looking at doing an IM PIDS combined application. So in that instance, would you suggest maybe I can just make all my recommendation IM, or maybe if I can get some PIDS letters from my home country to support, or would you suggest since maybe I've had IM experience in the US, I could just use that recommendation. I could just use those recommendation letters.
Did you
Okay.
get it?
Yes, I got it. Thank you. So I would say if you're applying to IMPs, sometimes it's not like really of where you did the rotation. It would have been good if you did like an IMPs rotation, but you have an IM rotation. Let the person write you an IMPs letter of recommendation. So an IM physician can write a recommendation for IM pediatrics because IM pediatrics is just two specialties doing, I think it's 4 years. You understand? So they can write you that letter. If Dr. Cynthia was here, she would be a good resource. I think she matched into IM PITS, MedPITS. So um yes, that's what I think about the letter. People from if you're still in your home country or it's not been far away you left, um, yes, they can write you letters also. A pediatrician can equally write you an IMPT letter, because it's like two things. So they can make the letter about IMP, speak to how you're going to be a good IMP physician. But like when I say specialty specific, okay, there are like two things. One is if the letter writer is in that specialty. Two is they are making that letter about that specialty you're applying to, even if they are not in that specialty. So like an IM physician can write you an IMP specific letter because he's speaking to your personality as a doctor and bringing out your experience when you did IM rotation with him that will help you to succeed as an IMP physician, so that's what it can be. Then I think the first question you asked was when I didn't match, what I thought was the reason. Was it how I ranked programs or something else? So
What
I'll
is it?
say,
She said, is it issue with your ranking or interview skills?
okay, yeah. So I said something here that if you ask me why you didn't match the seasons you didn't match, I don't know. I got interviews, I interviewed all through. But what I can say is the more you stay in something, the more you get better at it, right? So definitely my interview skills improved. Unless you're not doing something to get better, then you're not going to get better. But if you're doing something to get better, then you're going to get better. So yes, there's something to learn from interviewing. People with lower interview skills are matched. So sometimes people match not because they interviewed so well, they matched because of other reasons. But when you don't have all those other reasons to favor you, then you have to find something to favor you yourself. So yes, my interview skill improved. How I ranked program, I don't know. I've been on this group and they'll say, oh, maybe the way you rank program makes you not to match. Well, I think I studied the match algorithm most times before the match. And from what I understand, which I know there's always a little bit of disagreement between Dr. Howard and Dr. CC because both of them have like two different school of thoughts. But I think I'm of the school of thought that the way the match algorithm works is if you rank a program high and that program ranks you high, you're likely to match in that program. But if you match a program high and the program ranks you low, your chances of matching in that program is low. You can match in that program if somebody that the program ranks high match somewhere else, then you move up their rank order list. So if you're the next person on the rank order list because someone they ranked high matched somewhere else, despite the fact you ranked them low, and all the ones you ranked high did not rank you, then you will match there. So that's how I briefly understand how the match algorithm works. The time I matched, I wasn't bothered of if I was going to match because I knew that after 18 interviews, I knew I was going to match. Somehow I just knew because maybe it was my time. So I wasn't bothered on where the programs will rank me. My interest was more on which program do I want to go to. I was even more scared of ending up in a program I didn't want to go to. That was just the way I was feeling. So the programs I wanted to go to myself, I ranked them high, and I ended up there. So that's what I can say.
I know when you're during the heat, I'm sure it's kind of a different ball game, right? But I'm glad it finally worked out. I know we have 2 more minutes, and so we are not gonna extend. Like she's clearly stated as a mom, we need to release her back so that way those kids they need their mom. So we have to wrap up. But I will leave that to Dr. Aditola to do that. But I wanted to personally thank you, and like I usually say on the platform, we will bring in mentors, literally been begging people to help us to review. So we're hoping to get those lists out later tonight or early tomorrow so we can allow for 3 to 4 weeks for people to help out in doing free services. So literally, this is a free service. So I don't want anybody to take it personally and say, "Oh my God, why would this person not help me?" No, sir, ma'am, you're not paying anything for that. People do this for business, and people take thousands of dollars to be able to review that. So whatever you get, and one of the caveat we also put out there is, please, this is just a volunteer, and of course if Blessing is, for instance, is volunteering to review IM, she may do a more thorough job than another person that volunteered. So it doesn't mean that, but whoever has volunteered to do that, we're not saying that's the Bible. We're not saying that is the final bus stop. So just take it, improve upon it from the feedback they give to you, and then just and then some people they say they have. Oh, what if I have the money, sir? If you have the money, why not go ahead and spend it for those things? If you want to get, go above and beyond and do whatever you need to do, just do it. If you have the resources, do it. But again, this is mostly for people that don't have the resources. That we, it's not anything new in our community. Some people don't have the resources, and so that's why we try to still do that for as much as we can. And then also, like she stressed, the interview group is probably going to be once we're nearing towards the 3 to 4 weeks line, we're going to kind of drop it and then have people volunteer and people show interest, applicants. And we're also going to have a limited time for people to show interest. So if you are like so busy, like people were coming in and like, oh my God, when was this posted? My job is not to take it and literally be knocking your house and be saying, hey, this is I wish I was paid to be able to do that, but we cannot do that, right? So if you're on the platform and you cannot keep up, I mean, no problem, but don't come back after the deadline and say, oh my God, like this is happening. Life is happening to everybody. So we just want to encourage everyone, since you're applying this year, please take it seriously. Everything that is being said, you're going to be talking to different people, to different schools of thought. And like Blessing said, pick and choose whichever one you feel like, hey, there sometimes too, it may sound like a harsh. Some people may be it may come off as being harsh. I would like she said, don't take it personally. It's just maybe the way they just communicate. And so wrong with it. And one of the other important points, Blessing stressed that you may have seniors here. And so I know some people that are living in the shadows are, oh, I don't want to, I used to be the most brilliant. So if I reach out to this person that is an attending now, they will look at me like, oh my God, this guy, like, seriously, what happened to you? But who really cares? I mean, Blessing, you talked about some of your colleagues that admire, some of them are attending, some of them are fellows. But how many of them have given you $50 or $100 in America to eat? How many of them has even come to visit you? Because everybody's busy. Nobody cares. Some even their professors. How does that help you? You're happy for them. It's the same thing. People that march on this platform, you march and then people will rejoice with you and you move on. Nobody cares about like, oh, why are you just, sir, why are you just marching after like this? Nobody's going to arrest you for marching. And there's nothing like I march late. What does that mean, march late? You're saying that you march late. There's some people that are even back home where they're from. They've not even written any exams. So, stuff like that. So I think, like you said, everybody's race in this life is different. And a feedback that you get from a 10, don't take it seriously. Just pick and choose. All these guidance are here, not because there's a one straight shot that leads to matching, but it's a combination of everything. The application, everything. Somebody will like, oh, I did not do this is because, well, except if you know specific and they gave you that feedback. But most time it's a constellation of so many different things, right? Like medicine, people like to say, we don't say that in psychiatry, but medicine people like to say FMIM, like it's multifactorial, right? Psychiatry too, we can say it's multifactorial. So it's the same thing. Everything is multifactorial, meaning everything is factored into this application. So it's not just one thing. So what you can do is to make sure you do everything, all those check boxes, make sure you check as much boxes as you can. And deep within yourself, say, I think I've given it my best. And then just leave the rest for God to take over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joey.
Thank you, Dr. Joy. I'm just going to read one last question, and then any other questions can go in the WhatsApp platform. This person says, does the year of graduation still applies to step 2 score? I noticed on Residency Explorer, they added step 2 minimum score. I'm not sure, this question is not really very clear. But Emily, do you want to clarify your question? Because I know this question has been sitting down here for a while. If not, oh, Dr. Elijah is there. I would like to hear from Dr. Elijah. Dr. Elijah, please unmute yourself and ask your comment right quick before we end.
Sorry, I'm not commenting on that last question because I'm not sure about the latest thing going on. I want to make a comment maybe if we have that can come in.
I think if I'm understanding correctly, it sounds like what you're saying is Resident Explorer is saying now they're listing the scores that they want for CK, that it maybe is like the minimum qualification for you to even submit your application there. If that is what Emily is trying to, if that's what it means. But if that is the case, even if they have their minimum scores. Like Blessing said, look at the totality of what they are saying. If you check off somebody, it's hard to check off all the boxes. Now, if you have your score, you're a citizen, you're this. Why would you apply to your communities? Then just apply to Harvard and John Hopkins, right? But which is like some of our folks now. We have so many. We have more than like 30 people this year already that have not gotten visas. And what is interesting, like I've encouraged people. So if you're here, you might, but you did not get a visa. I know it's really hard. So I mean, I can just feel the pain. So I want to just encourage you. Please don't give up. Don't give up this journey. Some people gave up from last year actually, and it's discouraging, right? I just want to encourage you, give it another try. And like I maybe I don't know if I'm going to say this again or not. I know some people are discouraged. Some people that match this year, they've maybe tried visa twice, 3 times. They are not matching. Somebody came to me to say, well, then what is the whole point if I keep applying it? Yes, that makes a lot of sense. But I just want to encourage you that you've seen this as a vision. I mean, unfortunately, well, maybe fortunately, we have a president that, is kind of changing things a little bit. But just give it eventually, one day is gonna come. I mean, it may last, like you said, so it may last for the night, but eventually, you know, it's there's always this guy said there's light at the end of the toilet. It's not toilet. There's light at the end of eventually there'll be that light. There'll be that ray of. So I want to encourage you. And like I was telling somebody in Saudi Arabia, eventually I pleaded with the PD, and then luckily they were able to defer the admission, not admission. I usually hear about deferring admission, but you don't hear about deferring residency slot because NRMP, you signed the law, you signed the stuff, but they're not supposed to. But there are some people that give, I heard about 3 months, 6 months, but to do 1 year extension, that is really hard. And I had to beg for this person, actually two different people, and luckily they did it for them. Like, so the minute they hold in the spot against next year. So if you're in that boat, reach out to that program in a very like calming tone on your email to beg them to say, please, if they can consider waiving that thing for you. And if they do that or not, if they didn't do that, no problem. It's discouraging. Please apply again, is what I would say. Apply again. And like there are 3 or 5 people from last year that said they gave up. They just heard me, that still voice. I don't know if I carry a still voice or not, or brush voice. They said, okay, this guy said apply, just apply again. And this year, they did something different. Some of them went to Barbados, Kenya, Barbados, and there's one more country. And they were able to get the approval. I think it was Qatar or something. They were able to get the approval from there this year. So compared to some people gave up, right? So there are more than people out there that might, but they just could not come in. And like I was talking to the person in Saudi Arabia, I said, you can do something differently. If you want to change your practice and go to the UK and establish at least 6 months before you give it another try, it may work out. And if you do that, or you may try to do all those visa like we said, if it's EB1, if it's EB2, if it's EB3. Some people going through the pathway of nursing and physical therapy, and then they came into that pathway through EB3, and then they are here. Some people go through the old visa. Whatever you need to do between now and next year to get in, do it, and then equation will change, and eventually you would like, oh, because now this is not for people that are, I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not trying to motivate anybody that's ready to write the exam to leave your country and come here. That is not what I'm trying to do. If you're on this platform, it means you already did what you that means you already took the exam. So I'm not motivating you to write the exam. It means you already thought about it and you came this far. So now that you're here, you spent a lot of money already. If you want to still make this dream that, like the dream that you had, do some things differently, and eventually it's gonna work out. It may be this year, it may be next cycle. I mean, look at Blessing. Blessing, those times she will cry and say, Dr. Joy, I've done this. Like, I've done this. What that thing, right? But eventually she persisted, and eventually it's gonna work out for people. It may just be the timing, but do different, like you said. Don't do exactly the same thing. If you do exactly the same thing without giving a damn, you may still not give a damn the next time. So do something differently. All right, I know Felix wants to talk.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Dr. Blessing, you did very great. Even listening to your story, it's quite motivating, and it shows a lot of resilience and tenacity to go through this journey to get to where you are. And while you're talking, and then that also made me to reflect and to think about some things. But what I want to say to every one of us is you have to know that every one of us and every one of you, we're going to match. All right. When is when you don't know, but you don't have to stop. As long as you keep moving on and you put yourself out there, you're going to match. So that's number one thing I want to say. The second thing is while you're putting so much effort in your application, your interview and your interviewing skill is equally important. Start preparing for your interview. So a lot of people put in so much effort looking at, listening to everything that Dr. Blessing said, get the network, this, that. They invited you for interview to now come and prove yourself. At the end of the day, you are not saying anything because you put in more time or more focus on other things. Everything is important. And for me, the interview is like 50% of everything else that is being done, because that is the chance to prove what you have written, what has been written, the exam you wrote, whatever. You just have that time to convince them that, look, I am the best or among the best. And so you have to start preparing very well for your interview from now, so that as soon as you submit your application and they invite you for interview, that shouldn't be the time you want to start preparing for interview. So start taking it serious, start preparing even for yourself, by yourself right now. So that would be my advice for every one of us. And I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much, Dr. Elijah. Thank you to all the seniors that added one or two things. Thank you, Dr. Blessing, for your time. I know there are some questions there. Please bring your question to the platform, to the WhatsApp group and Telegram group, and someone definitely will respond to those questions. We need to release our speaker. Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Blessing. Your story is very inspiring. Thank you so much. And I wish all of us a good rest of our weekend. We'll see you again next week, Saturday, God willing.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Please leave your appreciation words in the comment section in the WhatsApp and Telegram for Dr. Blessing.
Thank you, Dr. Blessing. Thank you for the insight.
Thank you, Dr. Blessing. Thank you to all the seniors that came. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Best
Dr.
of luck.
Blessing.
Thank you, Dr. Blessing.
Thank you, Dr. Blessing.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Agatha. Bye.
All right, thank you, guys. See you all next weekend.